Hola, minasan! Welcome back for another round of One Piece. This is a big day today because if you've looked at the title, you are not seeing things. That is three chapters. That's right. I'm going to be covering 3 chapters moving forward because I believe I have squeezed in enough footage. Condensed it down to keep it to at least under 60 minutes. I'm hoping I can pull that off. With 3 chapters, we'll soon find out. So for all of you to enjoy. So yeah, last time on One Piece, Luffy beat the living snot out of Buggy in an epic fight. Solo managed to beat Kabaji, only for him to get knocked down and go to sleep. And we got a bit of a victory for the most part, and the town looks like it's saved. At least on the outset, but well, given that it's Buggy, we don't know what's going to be happening. So it's time for us to get Kraken and no Kraken. The squiggly. Let's get on with some One Piece. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, Chapter 19, Double Fruit. Luffy's leg is stretched out. He stood in his posture as Buggy flew across the ground, but with Luffy's teeth gritted in place, and Buggy slowly falling over as his head reattached. Buggy landed on his back. Yuck! Buggy said, as he slid along the ground and the dust flew up into the air. Luffy looked back at his hat that he received from Longshanks. Three slices evenly across the cap, torn into pieces. His anger fueled with furious rage. He stared at it very carefully and said, "Darn you, dude! You ruined my hat. It was awesome." Cough. Buggy said, trying to get his wind back from being knocked over. Then Luffy suddenly landed on top of Buggy, holding him down and throwing a whole bunch of punches in Buggy's face. "And you spat on it, dude." To which Buggy replied, "Stop it! It's your own spit," Luffy said. He then pulled Buggy up, stretching his face very wide, and he stared hard into Luffy's eyes, seeing the anger, the redness building up, and he listened on. "Don't you ever mention Shanks and yourself." Owie, Buggy cried. "In the same breath again," Luffy finished his comment. "I don't know what your connection to Shanks is," Luffy said, continuing to stretch Buggy's face across. Oh, sorry, that's Buggy's comment. Got it. Sorry. "I don't know what your connection to Shanks is." Buggy struggled to speak as his face stretched even further. "But I'll say what I really like about him." "Oh, yeah?" "Yeah." Buggy stretched his arm back and yelled out, "Chop chop!" "Don't come apart," Luffy yelled and started chopping his hand on on Buggy's face. The clown pirate said as his head slammed into the ground. The crew, still faking being knocked out within the debris, watched on in horror as their captain get pummeled in the face. "Hey, the captain's not losing, is he?" "Of course not. Captain Bug can't lose. He's gonna get serious any time now, I think." Nami said, hiding behind a nearby building, avoiding all the dangers and debris that was flying around. "Oh no, I got caught up watching the fight," she said. "I have to steal the treasure and make it my escape." Meanwhile, at the camp of the townspeople, Everyone is still standing around just staring at things, wondering if they should do something. Something's wrong. The mayor's been gone too long. Blast him. He's worrying everyone. Maybe something happened in town, the lady said to the crowd, to which another bystander said, Yeah, we've heard a lot of cannon fire tonight. The crowd continued blah, blah, blabbing as the bald man lifted his head up and stared out at the town. Okay, I'm going into town. The rest of you stay here. Have my gravestone ready. I won't let you, the guy with the stick said. I won't let you go alone. I'm going with you. Don't be a fool, the bald man said, looking back at the stick man. Those aren't just pirates. They're Buggy's infamous pirate crew. They're all getting their butts kicked. Well, that's why we're going with you, the crowd yelled out. Even the little kid saying, Yeah. We can't call ourselves good citizens if we don't defend our mayor, the crowd screamed out. And the stick man continued, and you can't stop us. We're doing this of our own free will. Do what you want then, the bald man said, looking away with his eyes closed. Let's go, everybody! Yeah! The crowd said, preparing to walk to their deaths in the main town. Speaking of the main town, the mayor continued laying completely knocked out from Luffy's attack. Buggy, on his knees, gaining his breath, became very frustrated. He spoke. Never in my life has anyone made me as angry as Shanks did. That scallywag, Buggy yelled out, stole my great treasure from me. Luffy immediately paused. He stared out, and he listened on. I'll never forgive him for that. Buggy entered into his flashback and of a pirate ship that they once were on. Oh, they're fighting again! One of the pirate crew yelled out, Har, har, har! Go to it! Fight it out! And there was Buggy and Shanks grappling shoulder to shoulder, shirt to shirt, staring each other down, gritting their teeth, growling like no other. It's the North Pole, Buggy said. Would I give, I still didn't give Shanks, no, to the South Pole. Yeah, I'll just give him a normal voice. Because Shanks is too cool for funny voices. No, the South Pole. You're a stubborn fool. I'm stubborn because I know when I know I'm right. And they began punching each other with the entire cabin crew surrounding them, cheering them on. And suddenly, a random pirate popped up and punched them both upside the head. That's enough. You two are always fighting. Oof. 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 Who cares if whether it's colder at the South Pole or North Pole? The pirate pointed out the stupidity of their fight and debate. The crowd, the pirates laughed out loud. Ha ha ha! If you must know, then go find out for yourselves. You two need to cool off. The ship, the pirate up on the crow's nest, looking out at the sea, noticed something coming by. Ship approaching, north by northeast. Head straight for him, yards! Time to fight! The pirates screamed out. You look happy, Buggy, Shanks said. Of course I'm happy. A ship is a treasure for the taking. Buggy pulled his knives out with the biggest smile imaginable. Maybe you're right, Shanks said, grabbing the hilt of his sword, ready to unsheath it. Maybe I'm right. I'm absolutely right. Buggy replied in anger. You're soft. You and all the pirates on this ship. None of you has a proper appreciation for beauty. And I mean both kinds. You've lost sight of what being a pirate is all about. And they begin fighting again. This time they started their pillaging of the nearby ship. All the pirates sword fighting, clanging their swords, yelling out "Yar" and "Yay!" Axes flying, swords swinging, pirates flying across with the rope, swinging across the bow with the rope, and behind it all was Buggy, staring at a map. He was shocked. Huh? He opened it. He opened it completely. What's this? It was a map to a vast fortune sunken deep on the ocean floor. Treasure? Oh, it's a treasure map. I couldn't stop shaking, Buggy said in his flashback. My first treasure map. Nobody's looking. Maybe I'll just keep this to myself. It's mine. I did it. My fortune is as good as made. Buggy yelled loud with his fist flying in the air in joy. Another victory! The pirates yelled out as their ship sailed across the sea under the moonlit sky. Drink, sing, make merry! And as the whole entire crew got themselves into a drunken stupor, celebrating their victory, Shanks opened the door wide with a bottle of alcohol in his hand, and approached Buggy, catching him off guard. Hey, Buggy, come join the fun. Look at our spoils. Oh, we got something real interesting. Ooh, it's so cool. Spoils? I didn't take anything, Buggy said with his arms waving. I don't know anything about it. Huh? Shanks shook his head. We're trying to get his focus. What are you talking about? He said. I suppose someday. Days later. Wait a second. What happened here? Wow, that was a quick jump. Days later. They sat on a chair, staring out at the sea. I suppose someday we'll leave this ship, Buggy said. I'll go off on my own someday. Shanks said, leaning back. As captain of my own ship, I'll make time to see the world. I'll do some pirating along the way, of course. Oh, you're still a soft fool. What? But you're a good fighter, I'll give you that, Buggy said, looking back at Shanks. If it weren't for your soft way of thinking, I'd ask you to be on my crew. Work for you? Never. Shanks immediately took a drink of his alcohol as Buggy looked back in anger and scowl. We think differently. Better if we go our separate ways. Being a pirate is all about going your own way, after all. And how would you know what being a pirate is about? But Buggy said, leaning further back and resting his arm on his leg. If we cross paths on the high seas, it'll be a fight to the finish. Agreed? Shanks removed the bottle from his mouth. Agreed. That's also what being a pirate is all about. Yeah. Sometimes you baffle me. Buggy looked with disgust on his face. Now, what were you yammering about? Something interesting? Aye, Shanks said, lifting his bottle up in cheers. We found some devil fruit. They say that the devil fruit was enchanted by sea devils, he said with a smile, putting the cork back into the bottle. Whoever eats it gets amazing powers, but the seas turns against them. Captain says anyone who wants to eat it... Yeah! Buggy laughed. What sea dog would give up his ability to swim? He said. Only a fool would eat that fruit. He said. He thought as he shuffled his map in his pocket. There's tons of treasure on the ocean floor. You can get it if you can't swim. You can't get it if you can't swim. That's the devil's fruit worth a fortune, you know. Some people will pay 100 million berries for it. Shanks said, looking out at the sea. Impossible! As Buggy yelled out with his eyes bulging and his mouth agaped, ready for a fly to enter in. 100 million berries? A dozen treasure chests wouldn't hold all. The goddess of treasure must be smiling on me. Then later on, Buggy stood at the deck. He held the gum fruit very high in the air with a loud smile. I, apprentice Buggy, pirate Buggy, will eat the fruit. The pirate crew watched on, laughing. Youngsters don't think about the consequences. Alright, but Buggy's got real sand in his craw. And Buggy ate the fruit. He munched on it. Oh, he ate it, the pirate said. And he put his hand on his stomach. Everyone went silent. They said, ooh. And one in the crowd yelled out, well, feel any different? To which Buggy replied, not really. Maybe I wasn't ripe, said the scarred pirate. Maybe those tales about the devil fruit were lies, said another pirate. They fell for it. The fruit I just ate was fake. I switched it with the real devil fruit last night. Another glorious success. No more apprenticing. I'm getting off this hulk before someone finds me out. Buggy cheered himself on as he held the fruit in one hand and the map in the other. With the devil fruit and the treasure map, I'll be rich. Yes, I'll put together the cruelest pirate crew ever and steal more treasure. Hey, what you doing, Buggy? Shanks said, and Buggy immediately threw the mouth and map into his mouth. Herk, he said. What's wrong with your face? Buggy looked back and realized that it was only Shanks. Phew, it was only Shanks, he thought, though the fruit molded his mouth into something weird. Well, stop stealing food, Shanks said. The cook will skin you alive. Buggy thought as Shanks walked away. That was close. Buggy yelled out as Shanks returned suddenly out of nowhere. I almost forgot. The captain said, and Buggy swallowed everything. It went down his throat slowly and entered his stomach. It was a moment of silence. Shanks unsure of what he did. But Buggy knew. And he screamed out loud. Ah! You fool! Buggy pulled Shanks by the collar and shook him up. Hey, you dropped something, Shanks said with a very calm voice as Buggy looked back and saw the map fly away. Ah! My map! No! No! Hey, Buggy, Shanks said, reaching out as Buggy jumped into the water and began to slowly descend. What's happening? Buggy said, unable to move. I can't move right. He struggled hard to make any type of movement. Then he pushes himself right back out into the ocean. Gas! Gas! Help! Buggy screamed out, splashing and struggling to stay above. They're supposed to... to which Shanks said, you're supposed to be a great swimmer. Shanks, what's going on? The pirate said. What's he doing down there? Hold on, I'm coming. Shanks dove down. Shanks, Buggy said as his flashback ended. I swallowed 100 million berries. Now I can't swim, so I can't get at the treasure on the ocean floor. And Luffy smiled, watching on. Dude. So Shanks saved your life. And Buggy suddenly dabbed at Luffy, So what? It was his fault. He foiled all my grandiose plans, Buggy yelled in anger. And he split his body up and flew into the air with knives held in each of his fingers. And Luffy watched on. So, I changed my mind. If I can't get treasure that's in the sea, I'll just have to take all the treasure on the sea, using my chop-chop power. He floated in the air, watching on. I don't care how insignificant fly you might be. If you put your hands on my treasure, and he caught and he noticed his perception check increased and saw in the distance. Uh-oh, dude. Luffy looked back and saw who he was looking at. I'll squash you! Buggy flew right at Nami, holding a whole bag of treasure, and she looked on and said, "Huh?" To be continued. One Piece, Chapter 19, by Eiichiro Oda. One Piece, by Eiichiro Oda, Chapter 20, The Way of the Thief. Buggy laughed as half of his body dove at her with his knives in the form of claws, hurling towards her. Hands off my treasure! Nami looked down, in his direction in horror, caught in the act of carrying away his treasure in a giant bag. Ah, I've been found out! Luffy stared on as Buggy crossed his arms with his knives aimed at her. You won't get the better of me, Nami. I'll cut you to pieces. Luffy looked back and saw the other half of Buggy's body just standing there, legs, his buttocks, his crotch. He had an idea. As Buggy got far closer to Nami as she struggled to run with the heavy weight of the bag. You won't even get a speck of gold paint. The Buggy cried. His eyes sprouted out tears, and he began to tumble towards Nami as she screamed out, "Huh!" And all the way back where Luffy was at, his leg wedged between the crotch of Buggy's lower body. Buggy completely collapsed onto the ground. Ugh! His knives spilled all over the place. Nami watched on in shock as she saw him struggle every which way he can to endure the pain. Curse you, Gum Gum Boy! You fight dirty, attacking my lower half. And as his head twitched from the pain. Don't forget, dude. Nuts. I always go for nuts. Our fight's not over either. Luffy placed his hands on his hip with a big smile on his face as Buggy's lower half of the body collapsed over and twitching from the pain. Ah, I'm safe, Nami said in relief. Hey, Luffy said, pointing at Nami. Drop the loot and get out of here, dude. He'll keep coming after you. Leave the treasure? Not a chance, Nami said, struggling to keep the treasure in her hands. I'm not gonna leave my treasure behind. Your treasure, Buggy said, lifting his head up slowly, trying to make the pain subside from his mind. That's right, my treasure. I'm a master thief and I just stole it. Mine, 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 Nami yelled out with her fist in her hand. Her mouth agape as if the fly is ready to enter into her mouth. Oh. Luffy pounded his fist onto the palm of his hands and understood what she was saying. Okay, dude. That's my treasure, fool, Buggy said, struggling to crawl along the ground, enduring the pain still lingering in his mind. It's not yours until you get away with it. It's a basic tenet of thievery. Ah, the bad guy wants to lecture the bad guy, eh? I don't argue with low-life pirates, Nami said with a smile. What? Nami stuck her tongue out and said, I'd never stoop so low as to take lessons from you. Buggy struggled to lift himself up. Then suffer the consequences. He clenched his teeth. Chop chop. His whole lower head began shivering around, and suddenly, all of Buggy's body parts spread out. Festival! And struck Nami hard and flew right at Luffy and knocked him out as well on the other end. Both of them screaming out, oof. Let's see you save your friend now, Gum Gum Boy. Or should I say, Gumbo? Luffy watched on in shock. Darn, dude, he's all over the place. How am I supposed to fight him? Huh? Oh, his feet don't fly. Why is that? Luffy immediately dove down and grabbed one of his foot. Aha! I got your foot, dude. Now I'm gonna tickle you. Give it back, my treasure. Buggy said, diving at Nami as she threw herself to the ground, shielding the treasure, hoping he won't strike her. Give it back! He screamed out. And suddenly, Luffy removed the shoe, and and Buggy felt it. Coochie coochie coo, dude. I was just guessing that. I was just guessing that he was gonna tickle him. I didn't even see that coming. I was just guessing that he was gonna tickle his foot. To me, I thought that was the Luffy thing. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I didn't realize that was gonna happen. His mouth was laughing so loud, tears fell down his eyes. It scared the living crap out of Nami as she ran away, screaming, "Yeah!" Luffy continued on, messing with Buggy's foot. How do you like this? He immediately slammed the foot down, causing the toes to bend over. Buggy yelled out again. His fist clenched, his eyes dripping with tears, and his brow furrowed down below, smoke snorting out of his nose, scaring Nami even more. Yeah. Oh, you're a tough old clown, aren't you? He said. Luffy said as he stretched the ankle, the skin of his ankle. Buggy yelled out, his eyes bulging, his mouth even further agape, ready to eat Nami whole, as Nami screamed even more from fright and terror. Yeah! Enough already! Buggy looked back with his mouth agape. Cut it out! Luffy was confused by his request. Nami immediately dropped the bag. She tightened her grip, and with all of her breath and all his strength, she looked back at Buggy. You're the one who's gonna, you're the one who's gonna cut it out. And Buggy looked back at her. It's you. Nami flinged the bag over her head and smashed it on Buggy's face. Wow, dude, that was awesome. Total epic. As he looked at the bag on Luffy's face, with Nami holding it in the air. Hey. Buggy smiled as he clenched the bag. Nami didn't realize what she had done. Thank you for returning my treasure. Ugh. Let go. And Nami began pulling along with Buggy and started a tug of war. Let go. You let go, Buggy said. And Luffy immediately charged at them. It's my treasure. He ran as he noticed that Buggy's hands flew around with the knives aimed at Nami's waist. Hey, dude, you're supposed to be fighting me. We have an epic battle here. Huh? Buggy looked at Luffy. Remember? And Luffy flew over and kicked the kicked Buggy in the back of the head, and they flew him into the bag, adding more to the pain, and avoided Nami altogether as she shielded herself from Luffy's knee. Buggy's face completely squished within. Luffy's face pushing more force into it. He released the bag, and Buggy and his body parts collapsed over as Nami recollected herself. With all the body parts now landing on the ground, the treasure laid all across the floor, and Buggy's face laid on it in pain. Gotcha. Luffy said as Nami lifted herself up. That, dude, Luffy said, wiping the blood off his cheek, was for the mayor. He smiled. Nami was very surprised. Looking up at Luffy, she said, "Thanks for saving me." No problem, dude. You were pretty awesome with that tug of war. Oh, hey, the treasure map. Luffy looked down as Nami stood up and looked out at the treasure strewn across the ground. My treasure's scattered all over the place. Oh, gotcha. At last. Luffy held the map in his hand, clenching it with his fist. It's the map of the grain line, dude. I'm gonna be awesome. Hey. Buggy lifted his part of his body up as behind Luffy. Not so fast, Gumbo. Nami looked back, along with Luffy, to which she said, you're still alive, dude. Wow, you're hardcore. I'll kill you. Hell, we both got the same powers. Come together, chop chop. Huh? All of his body parts gathered around what was left of it. A mere arm and feet and a head. Luffy looked down at him. Buggy looked up. And there was Nami, with all of Buggy's body parts bounded by a rope and her foot on top of the bundle. Is this what you're looking for? Ah, my body! Ha ha ha, dude. Good job, Master Thief. You can leave the rest to me. Goodbye, Buggy. Luffy stretched his arms behind his back as far as he could go and yelled out, "Gun, gun!" And with a shock in his face, Buggy screamed out, "Wait! Bazooka!" And Luffy's arms shot right back to the front and with full force sent Buggy's hands and feet flying into the air. Ah! To be continued. One Piece, Chapter 20 by Eiichiro Oda. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, Chapter 21, Townies. The clear sky pushed the clouds along. There's a loud cheer in the air. There was Luffy with his arms stretched up, his mouth was full of joy. He yelled out, "I win, dude. I'm totally radical. Now you'll join my crew, right?" Luffy planted his hands on his waist and looked back at Nami as she held the bag full of treasure, struggling to hold it up. "For the time being," she said, with a smile on her face. "Looks like I'll make a fortune if I stick with you guys." She hugged the bag of treasure with a happy smile. You had to get Buggy credit. You had an eye for treasure. This is first class booty. It's easily worth 10 million baddies. She rocked back and forth, with a loving embrace. Then she noticed that Luffy was in the middle of the street, holding the hat up. "Ah," she said, "all this treasure weighs a ton, so I divided it in two. You carry half, okay?" Luffy continued staring out at the hat, sliced up by Buggy, as everyone laid across the ground in the street. Nami approached him carrying the 2 bags.
Huh? That means a lot to you, huh?
Nami said, "Yeah." Luffy planted a hat on his head. "It's not so bad, I guess. I can still wear it. It sure felt good to clobber old Buggy, though."
You hear that?
One of the pirates said in the pile of rubble.
Captain Buggy got clobbered.
"Well, what should we do?"
I think I'll play that a little longer.
"Good idea." The pirate crew immediately leaned over the pile and pretended to be knocked out. Meanwhile, back at the middle of the street, Luffy crouched over and started patting Zolo on the head. "Hey, Zolo, wake up, dude. We won. Let's get going." "Huh? Huh?" Zolo lifted himself up, realized where he was at. "Did you take care of things?" "Yeah, dude. And I got the map and the treasure." "Excellent. Ugh, my head. Remind me not to sniff them spider monkeys." "Okay, dude." "Well, it's no good. I don't think I can walk. My legs are all jelly-like."
Of course not,
Nami said.
If you could, I wouldn't believe either of you guys are human.
"Hey," Luffy looked back at Nami. "Don't lump me with him."
You're even less human than he is,
Nami yelled out in response. "Oh, yeah." Luffy looked back and saw the old man snoring as he laid across the ground, knocked out. "I better wake the mayor up." "Hey, you guys." One of the citizens of the town yelled out. "We're citizens of this town," he said as the whole entire crowd held weapons up. "Did the pirates mutiny or something? Come on, talk to me."
Ah, the townspeople, where do we live?
Nami said with a smile.
I thought you might be more pirates. Well, we'll tell you what happened, but it's a long story.
Nami Nami pointed it out, was cut off by one of the townspeople. "Hey, it's the mayor."
Mayor. Oh, Mayor. Are you hurt, man?
"What happened here?" "It was those lousy pirates." "Nah, it wasn't that, dude. I knocked the old man out," Luffy said. "Why, Luffy?" Huh? All the townspeople looked in Luffy's direction, their eyes scowled, their weapons raised. And Nami, in pure anger, looked back at him.
Luffy, they didn't have to know that.
"Well, you saw me, dude."
True, but I wasn't gonna tell them.
"Oh."
You did this to the mayor.
Spears aimed at them by the townspeople.
It's intolerable. Who are you, pirates?
Nami thought.
They're in an ugly mood. Don't tell them we're pirates or thieves or they'll kill us.
She said. She silently said. She whispered to Luffy. "We're pirates, dude." Dumb.
Pirates, get him!
And the crowd charged out loud. Zolo laughed. "Ha ha ha." Nami screamed out,
"You idiot!"
And Luffy looked back. "But we are pirates, dude. We're awesome pirates." "Run." Luffy scooped up Zolo and ran hard as fast as he could.
"They're running!"
The townspeople yelled out and started chasing.
"After them!"
Nami Nami argued her way to safety.
"Don't let them get away! They'll pay for attacking the mayor!"
The bald man, with his vein bulging out, scowled at them.
"Why do you always have to complicate things?"
Nami said. "These are good people."
"So?"
she said. And the crowd continued roaring and screaming. "They're all worked up, dude, because they love their mayor." The mayor, still being helped by the crowd. "It wouldn't matter what we told them."
"Oh? They're going into that alley!"
One of the townspeople pointed out as Nami and Luffy turned right around the corner. And suddenly, Chow Chow appeared. Hold on. Barf. There we go. The crowds, the entire mob immediately stopped in fear and horror.
Chow.
It's food. It's that food, Luffy said as they both looked back running.
Get out of the way, Chow. Those guys are bad people.
Borf, Chow said, holding them at bay. Borf.
Chow, why are you helping them?
Borf.
Chow, get out of the way.
Borf. And Luffy smiled on as they made their getaway. There we go. Made their getaway. Later, as the birds flew in the sky over the town, Nami and Luffy walked towards the docks with Zolo in tow and the bags in hand.
Phew, that was too close. Chow really saved our necks. Why are we in this mess anyway?
It's okay, dude. We did what we needed to do, right?
I guess so.
Hey, is this your ship? Luffy noticed a bigger boat. It's great. It's great, dude.
I've seen better.
Nami looked back at him.
I stole it from some stupid pirates.
In which those stupid pirates immediately popped up and looked out at Luffy and the crew.
Huh?
We've been waiting for you, girlie.
You guys.
Nami remembered what she had done to them as they gathered around and watched and stared at her.
Reed knew you'd come back to the ship. Har. Imagine our surprise finding our stolen ship docked here.
You haven't forgotten about us, right? Luffy looked over at Nami and asked, "Friends of yours, dude?"
Not so much,
Nami said without a care in the world.
Now that's not nice. Our fates are intertwined.
One of the pirates said.
Nice that you brought some friends. Then they'll get the same treatment as you. We'll learn ye to steal ships, red as ye.
Look what I'm talking to you. The pirate slapped Zolo's head. Ow. When he lifted his head up, the pirate's eye bulged out. They realized who it was, and they immediately screamed and jumped back. And they threw themselves into the ocean and started swimming away. Yeah! All with a collective scream.
Mayor, he's coming around.
Phew, thank goodness.
Phew, thank goodness.
The crowd said.
What happened, Mayor?
The mayor lifted his head up, planted his hand on his head, nursing the wound. What the? It's like, it was like this when we got here. Don't you know what happened? The bald man pointed out at the debris full of knocked out pirates. Oh.
Yeah, there were these three suspicious characters here.
One of the townspeople said. The kid and his friend. Oh, my head.
Then
They're still alive? That blasted kid, how could he have done that to an old man like me? Boodle remembered the punch Luffy delivered, knocking him out.
Yeah, we chased that pirate and his friends out of town, but we'd like to get our hands on him. He was mocking us. We'll teach those pirates to respect decent citizens.
The crowd yelled out.
Let's get those scoundrels.
Shut up! The old man yelled out as he planted his hands on his knees and looked down at the ground. I'm the one who gets to call them names. Don't any of you dare talk bad about them.
But Mayor, why are you sticking up for the pirates?
The crowd murmured in shock and horror at the mayor's willingness to let them go.
That darn kid, does he think he can get away without hearing from me? I have a lot of lectures. Where'd they go? Which way? They went for the docks,
one of the townspeople said.
Mayor!
The citizens yelled out collectively as he began to strip the armor off his body and each one clanked down onto the ground as he picked up speed.
The nerve of that kid. This is my town. I've got a thing or two to say to him. Just like Buggy.
Back at the dock, the sails caught wind and flapped. All right, let's go, dude. Hey, your sail has Buggy's mark on it, Luffy said, looking at Nami's boat.
It was his ship. I'll pay it later. Herb. Hey, wait, kid. The mayor said, running down the street, screaming out loud. I have something to say to you. He stood out at the dock with catching his breath. Luffy noticed him and looked out. Hey, it's the mayor dude. I was a desperate man. Becky would have killed me. You saved me and my town, the mayor said, catching his breath. Luffy looked on. Solo looked on. Nami looked on. Thank you. He lifted his head up with tears in his eyes. I won't forget you, young whippersnappers. And Buggy and the crew smiled on. You're welcome, dude. Talk it easy, Nami said. Words can't express. He said the mayor's tears fell down. And as they traveled through the high seas, Nami yelled out, What? You left the treasure! That was 500,000 berries I handed you! Yeah, dude, but their whole town was wrecked. They'll need a lot of money to rebuild it. That was my treasure you gave away! Nami yelled out in pure anger. And she was on Luffy's boat, pressing down on him, punching him. Take it easy, dude. If you really want it, let's go back and get it. It's too late now. If you ever do anything like that again, I'll kill you. Zolo laughed on as Nami continued to beat up Luffy. And so Nami the thief joins Luffy's crew, and the two ships set out to sea together. Back, Nami said. You're laughing. No, I'm not. But that didn't hurt. Little do they know that soon they'll have to face the trial of the forest. To be continued. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, chapter 21. All right, it's time for the review. Whew. Oh my gosh, that was a good fight. It lasted, my gosh, what, 15 chapters? That's crazy. I gotta say that it was a pretty good fight. That was a pretty good finish to the whole fight. Especially what happened here. pure rage. Some really clever techniques being done all throughout this fight. We get into Buggy's backstory, which is pretty cool. Finding out that he found a treasure map. But the reason he wants to kill Shanks is so dumb, quite honestly. Where is that at? Yeah, right here. Very silly moment, but that's really Buggy's fault. He shouldn't have been out in the open and having that. He shouldn't really be having those things out in the open, quite honestly. He should have had those things well hidden from everybody, including Shanks, and not even worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, occasionally checking on it, but doing that, I mean, come on. and to think it was all because of scare, and Shanks doesn't even know that he did it. That's the hilarious part about it. Shanks didn't even know that he caused all this. So it's a funny motivation, quite honestly. Funny comical thing there. So it's pretty a very good comedic moment. But the fact that they both know each other, and really they were both friends, because look, they're like really chilling with each other. So yeah, Shanks is completely oblivious to what he's done. If Buggy would have just explained it to him, Shanks probably would have apologized and that would have been it. But no, Buggy chose anger and stupidity. And stupidity and anger is what he delivers in chapter 20, as they do everything, as he does everything he can to not lose the treasure. Because Nami was walking away with it, a very, very, very big bag that was very, very heavy. But much like Denji and Chainsaw Man, Luffy's technique is straight for the nuts. And boy, man, it was pretty hilarious at this part here, because it really caught me off guard. Let me see, where is it at? His feet. Yeah. I didn't realize Luffy was gonna tickle his feet. I I was like, I was just guessing that. I was just guessing that he was going to, like, that was a wild guess. That was just an ad lib that I did. I'm gonna tickle your feet, and he actually did tickle feet. I wasn't even paying attention to the top left. That's why I was cracking up. And what was funny is that each of the panels here, these next three panels here, is Luffy messed around with. With Buggy's feet, it looked like a horror panel here. Poor Nami, being traumatized by a nightmare for the next three panels. I wonder how that played out, but let me tell you something. For a bag that was overly heavy for her to run, that really gave her these faces that Buggy made really gave her the adrenaline to to run fast. Very well drawn too, the way her head frazzled out like that. And with all her might, all that adrenaline just bashed them in the head. But then they got a little tug of war going on. But the action sequence was pretty good. It was pretty good, and we get to see Nami get to join in on the action. Thanks to Luffy's little attacks and everything. And again, nice detail here of the treasure. Like Oda-san didn't have to go all out on the treasure, but he really went on the details there in that lower left corner, which is pretty cool. And naturally, they won. Or so we thought, because that was a great end, and we get to see that in the live action. So that was actually pretty interesting, seeing that in the live action. Smart move on Nami. We get to see her resourcefulness. She's not right now she's not much of a fighter, but she's very resourceful, very smart, very clever in doing that with bundling up his body. I don't think that happened in the live action, honestly. But Luffy got to finish him off with the Gum Gum Bazooka, and that was cool. And then we finally get the coda to this long Buggy arc, which is pretty hilarious, considering that Luffy reflected on the hat getting damaged and everything. Hopefully it'll get fixed up. But they split the share, and then the townspeople comes in. Very, very different from the live action. I'm making comparisons with live action because I saw the whole entire live action. That's why this is a thing. That's why I'm watching. That's why I'm reading One Piece here. But this one here, the townspeople were just hiding out, but then they actually do have backbone and they can fight. They have weapons, so it's a very different contrast, but very hilarious because Luffy just doesn't read the room. He's like, yeah, we're pirates. He's like, yeah, we're pirates, and we get a whole big chase sequence. And but I can see why, because it brought Chow Chow in the end, and Chow Chow comes out big on this one. So it was pretty cool, and it's mostly wrapping up now. The three pirates, are cleared out, and the old man, the mayor, says what he wanted to say, and everybody's off to adventure. There we go. Everyone's off to adventure. So actually, this was pretty nicely written at the end. This is how you finish it off. You make sure all the loose ends are tied up. Chow Chow role came to an end. The old man, got to say what he wanted to say to Luffy and the gang. The three pirates that we didn't know what happened to them afterwards. We now know their fate. They just ran off screaming. Where is it at? Let's see. Yeah. Here they are. And then they go off screaming the second they saw Zolo. So yeah, everything. So in every sense of the word, this was really good because now all this stuff is cleared out. We don't have to worry about any loose ends for the next arc, which apparently is a forest. Whatever it is that's going on in the forest in the next chapters, and we got ourselves a three person crew now: navigator, first mate, the captain. So who's gonna be at it next? We'll soon find out on the next go. So Thank y'all for joining me. If you're interested in heading on over to my Patreon for all things reading and writing. Let's read mangas at the moment. Got a poll up. You are invited to do so and have yourself a good time over on the Patreon. Make don't hesitate to comment, like, subscribe, follow. You'll want to. And with that said, I wish you all a good night, a buenas noches, and oyasumi nasai.